You're listening to Sopherstition with your hosts, Sophia T and Sophia R.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm Sophia R.
And it's me, Sophia T.
And welcome to the first episode of Sopherstition. On today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the 2017 hit horror film, The Ritual. Alright, let's get right to it.
The Ritual is a 2017 British horror film directed by David Brucker and written by Joe Barton. The film was based on the 2011 novel, The Ritual, by Adam Neville. After the tragic death of their friend, four college pals set out to hike through the Scandinavian wilderness. A wrong turn leads them into the mysterious forests of Norse legend, where an ancient evil exists and stalks them at every turn.
So the main protagonist, Luke, was played by actor Rafe Spall.
Rafe Spall?
Yeah, that's kind of a cool name.
Yeah, that's a really cool name. Is that his original name? Like his birth name?
Yeah, he's not like a Katy Perry or anything where they use like artificial names.
Dude, that is a sick name.
Rafe Spall. Imagine naming your son Rafe. Anyway. Rafe Spall also starred in Season 2, Episode 4 of Black Mirror, titled White Christmas as Joe Potter. Now, personally, I love Black Mirror. I've seen every single episode at least 5 times. And no, I'm bragging, but it's also the truth. But I love that episode so much. It's actually one of my favorite Black Mirror episodes. And oh my god, the plot twists and that feeling that it gives you, just wanting more, just wondering what could happen and like how could people actually do that. Have you seen Black Mirror?
Yeah, I've watched a few episodes and I really liked it. Maybe one day we can do an episode on that.
Yeah, definitely. I will put up a poll just to see which episode to do. Like we pick a couple of the worst ones.
Or let us know in the comments. Now, talking about the actors, I have to commend them for the variety of ways that they embodied fear. I feel that as a team, they really exhibited a full range of fear, from emotionally being angry, scared, all the way to resignation, from being viscerally pissing their pants to subtle, like, shaking hands while working on a zip.
The true meaning of friendship, the true meaning of brotherhood, right there. Besides, they've been friends for so long, so
yeah,
wouldn't expect any less.
The Ritual does a great job at building and sustaining tension in the convenience store scene, one of the very first scenes in the movie. So even though it wasn't exactly integral to the main storyline, I felt it was pretty harrowing and memorable. What do you think?
Well, when I first saw the movie, that scene definitely, like, it's like a punch in the face. Pun not intended. That was actually what happened.
Yeah, it's
in the
pretty
movie.
impactful.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, like, come on, imagine if like you and your friend go into a grocery store to get alcohol. Like okay, me and you, we go into the grocery store to get alcohol, and it's like your idea, right?
Or
to go
chocolate.
get alcohol or chocolate or snacks even. And imagine how you would feel if like the store was robbed and I got murdered, like right in front of your eyes, and you couldn't even do anything.
Honestly,
like,
I probably would have stepped in before it got that bad, but
yeah,
I mean, who would know, right? Unless you're put in that situation, that fight or flight.
Yeah, of course, like how guilty would one feel if his or her best friend actually died right in front of them and they were too frozen in shock to have done anything, like that immense weight on your chest.
Yeah.
On top of that, I loved how they brought the memories of their dead friend with them on that trip to the Scandinavian region, and they even built like a shrine for him. They put his picture there, remember?
Yeah, that was actually really sweet.
Yeah, so if I die and you go camping anywhere, please don't go to the Scandinavian region and put my picture there.
You mean when you die?
I'm immortal. What are you talking about?
I'm a deity.
I am God! For any of you who don't know, that was actually a reference to South Park's Stick of Truth. Eric Cartman, I love that show. And if you use him as like a buddy during fights, if you win, he will actually say that at the end of, I think that was one of his dialogues, like at the end of the fight, he'll go, I am God! That is hilarious. Anyway, back to topic. If you go hiking, if you go camping anywhere, why the Swedish wilderness? I mean, if you're looking for something scarier, or if you're looking for dead bodies as a milestone, go to Mount Everest. You know, you won't see any giant ancient gods in Mount Everest, but you might die. Chances are pretty high. I mean, like, why though? What's good out there? I mean, the view is nice, definitely, but yeah, go climb a mountain in another region or something.
Okay, but the atmosphere is actually one of my favorite parts of the movie. I felt that the setting both inside and outside the forest is like a real treat for the eyes, and it really helps to set the tone for the film. Something I found unique to the ritual is its use of camera zooms. Like, you don't really see zooming like that in other horror films, and I feel like that camera work plays along really creatively with the surroundings to build tension again.
Do you also think like it draws elements from like the Blair Witch Project and the Witch movie, mainly because of how like the fear factor is partially conjured up by like, you know, the forest ambiance?
Okay, honestly, don't tell anyone, but I have not watched those two movies.
Are you kidding me? The Blair Witch Project is a legend.
I know. It's on my to watch, but I mean, from what I've seen, it does kind of give me that vibe.
Agreed.
So I think they fully utilize the forest setting to not only tell their story, but to make you feel this stifling sense of being absolutely lost in the vast sea of trees and being so small and minute. This goes a really long way, especially when they finally get into like clear flat ground in civilization, because even though there weren't many villagers, there is still that sense of being outnumbered, and it emphasizes how large and potent the deity is. It's all very David and Goliath-esque towards the end.
I agree. I mean, you were talking about how there are not many villagers there. The only villagers there are cult worshippers who worship this thing from Norse mythology, and
They're crusty.
Yes. Can we talk about how creepy that headless figure was? I'm assuming that that's supposed to be like, what, a statue that represents the ancient god?
Yeah, that's my theory. I think that the figure is supposed to resemble the deity, and like that statue thing looks like the part of the head of the deity. So I think that's what that was.
And the creepy part was that it was headless. It was a headless figure made out of twigs.
Although technically it was a head.
Ahead of time. It was always like
it actually
was.
It was like the foreboding imagery.
Agreed. It was like ahead of them all the time. It was like 3 steps ahead, pun intended. And okay, can we talk about how it has like antlers for hands and, well, chicken feet for, well, feet?
Well, I don't really know my Norse mythology that well, so I don't know if that's how it's described, like in actual mythology.
No, I'm just talking about like that statue thing. That
Oh, yeah. No, that was really creepy.
And it's weird how we never saw any resemblance back to that weird creepy figure in the cabin throughout the entire movie ever again. Like, they were so hyper focused on the actual ancient god himself.
I guess that's kind of like what is it, like, what do you call it, like paganism or something, when you like pray to like a statue? Well, look up paganism first. If I'm right, edit. No, isn't that like paganism when they pray to a statue? But maybe, yeah, I think it's just to resemble the deity, and in there maybe.
But it doesn't even resemble it one bit.
Well, it looks like the head bit.
Oh, the hands? Like, the hands do look like the head bit, like the tip of the
Hey,
deity.
like if you look at the picture again, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I feel like the top of the head looks like that thing.
Slightly.
Like with the torso and the arms and things.
Oh, I get it now. Okay. No, I see where you're coming from.
Artistically, I appreciated how they linked all of the elk elements with the forest through the likeness of horns and branches. I think that's really clever that they linked the setting together with the deity like that. And the whole like gruesome impaling using branches really satiated my body horror needs. I like body horror. Yes.
That is not a sexual comment.
Unless you want it to be.
Whatever you want. No! My sergeant say cannot. Alright, let's talk a little bit about Norse mythology. So, remember in the movie how it was said that the creature was an ancient god, as I have said multiple times just now, like a part of the Jotun? I could be saying it wrong. And how one should never speak its name. Like that that wild girl, the one with the messy hair who actually spoke English to Luke, tried to explain to him what was going on. The reason why I laughed was because Sophia T was actually trying to impersonate that wildling girl.
You have no proof.
Sure. So a Jotun is a giant in Norse mythology, a member of the race of nature spirits with superhuman strength. Now, according to the cult, that ancient god that they worship and they even gave human sacrifices to was actually a bastard son of Loki. Now, while it's certainly not uncommon for gods throughout various pantheons to engage in such behavior, Loki is particularly well known for being a trickster. Because of this, to me, it's honestly no surprise that his offspring would be like odd and even malevolent.
I'm always up for mythology when done right, and I think this movie did a great job looking at Norse mythology through a horror lens and still keeping it accessible to the average Joe. But I am glad that they only sparingly showed the deity, because personally I found it a little less scary after being revealed in detail, like after we get to see what exactly it looks like in whole. I would have liked the movie less if they leaned into a creature feature sort of movie rather than letting the creepy occultish themes shine. But what I would like to know is if this film was in any way offensive to Nordic viewers at all, or if this was an accurate portrayal of Norse mythology.
I don't think so. I mean, when I did my research, I could barely find anything in relation to that bastard son of Loki. Yeah.
Ouch, why you gotta...
I'm just saying what the movie said, what the wildling girl said.
Alright.
But the entire movie conjured up a very, like, moody atmosphere, bringing you to that dark place where guilt lies, and you could sort of empathize with Luke throughout the entire movie. As I said earlier in the podcast, first off, the story, the plot, really, really interesting. I mean, I don't really stick around too much because sometimes I feel like horror movies they stray away from the plot just to enhance on the scare factor of the entire movie. So that really just makes it seem like, what did I just watch? And like, no wonder the ratings are so low. Can we talk about like how low horror movie ratings are on IMDb? Oh, we'll talk about that later. Let's just finish.
Yeah, maybe on a different episode.
Yeah, on a different episode. Sure. But yeah, I mean, it certainly gives you that sense of, well, in a sense, interest, because it actually tells a story, while with a little sprinkle of horror and fear.
Talking about empathizing with Luke, I didn't really care for the repetition of that whole traumatic scene. Like, they kept playing it over and over again, and I was like, I get it. Or like, can we move on?
But it's like he's kind of living in his nightmare.
No, yeah, I understand why it was put in there, like to drive home the idea that Luke was chosen for his immense pain. But I feel like they could have shown it in other ways instead of just repetitively showing us the same scene again and again, although slightly different. Okay.
The best part.
What was your favorite scene? I'm gonna go first.
Alright, you go first.
Okay, so my number one scene is when Phil wakes up, when Phil is naked praying to that statue thing. That was the best and most memorable scene. I rewatched this movie once, but that was the scene that really stuck with me throughout this entire time. A close second is the congregation of mummified worshippers, but I found that I kind of forgot that scene after a while. And my honorable mention is Luke socking the old village lady right in the face. That was so satisfying.
No, I think my favorite scene would definitely have to be your honorable mention when you socked that lady right in the face. It
so
was just
satisfying.
Like, yeah, it was just like, okay, she didn't even see it coming, just and then she's like dropped it on the ground.
She deserved it.
But yeah, that part where the villagers actually said that if you do worship this bastard son of Loki,
just call it a deity. What do you have against it?
Everything. If you do worship that deity, that you would have eternal life. And I don't know, I wouldn't want eternal life if you're gonna lock me in a room sitting down church style with my body rotting, just facing something. If you give me eternal life for that, I wouldn't want that. I would want to like go out and walk around. But I honestly thought that eternal life thing was a lie, and until I saw that scene where they were like groaning and like moving in such a painful way.
They're corpses, but they're like they're basically like zombies. Yeah.
Essentially, that's what they are, aren't they? But they can. I hope they can still think and talk. I don't
think so, because they were kind of just stuck there. Well, they were murmuring things.
I wonder what they were murmuring, like the chant to the Bastard Son of Loki.
I don't know. I suppose it's like ambiguous, just to show that like they've lived so long that their body is kind of expired.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Moral of the story, guys: don't take shortcuts. Don't go into random ass cabins in the woods. And in an event of a serious thunderstorm while hiking, do not sleep in the cabin where a scary headless statue made out of twigs lives. Just don't. Just why? Why would you do that? Why?
Why? I would recommend this to fans of more atmospheric horror and also people who are just a little bit interested in mythology. And overall, I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
I agree.
Alright, we've come to the end of the first episode of Sopherstition. If you're enjoying our podcast, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more horror content. And if you wanna, leave a comment telling us what horror movie you'd like for us to review next. Until next time, stay spooky.